Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. We have had a terrible box office weekend, except a stellar performance by Taylor Swift. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, the Swifties are winning, and they seem to be winning at least once to twice a year. Will that keep up? Probably not. But one thing for sure, if it weren't for this concert movie, we would have had the worst performance on a weekend ever. Now let's get started. Here we go. Now, normally I would remind you to subscribe to the channel, but you've already checked, right? You've checked down there. The little that button down there isn't red, it's gray. Good. You've already turned on all the notifications so you don't miss anything. Good. I want to say thank you for doing that because we're trying to get to 50K, and the only way to get to 50K is if you're part of the action, and I appreciate it. Now, let's start with Deadline and talk a little bit about Taylor Swift's Showgirl at 33 million. It's an awesome anomaly for the album. Dwayne Johnson sees lowest opening ever with the Smashing Machine. And you know what? This number could actually be adjusted down, and it didn't score well. You're looking at a mere $6 million, and it could be $5 million. Now, mind you, these are domestic numbers. Internationally, this has also been released, but I don't think it's going to enjoy a lot of love. But for me, I have to say, as much as I am not a regular listener to Taylor Swift, there are some of her songs, that work. They work with soundtracks, and they work for her fans. And, well, that counts as something. I mean, if you take a look at what's coming out of Variety, box office, Taylor Swift's release party of Showgirl triumphs with 33 million, and again, same headline. This is, well, PNC Media, because all the tabloids, all the trade papers are owned by PNC. Smashing Machine bombing isn't a surprise to me. The Rock does not open movies. Obviously, Taylor Swift does. Perhaps she should learn how to act and start doing that, because she could make even more money than she does in her music, or just add to her immense fortune. One thing's for sure, this film went forward. Having conquered the world's biggest stadiums with her sold-out concert tours, Taylor Swift is proving again that she can rule the big screen too. The latest theatrical effort, the official release party of Showgirl, is dancing to the top of the box office charts at 33 million. The cinematic experience, as the project had been dubbed, collected another 13 million in the international box office, bringing the grand total to 46 million. That's some icing on the cake, I would say. It's a significant tally given that Showgirl was announced just over 2 weeks ago, and as far as I know, it's only going to last over the weekend. I don't think this has plans to stick around the theaters. If it does, it's going to scoop in more money, because those who missed it this last weekend because they weren't paying attention will want to see their favorite Showgirl, or modern Showgirl, up on the big screen. Elsewhere in the box office, audiences couldn't smell what The Rock was cooking because they weren't interested. And I don't even think it was the material. I think nobody believes he can act. It's a rated R sports drama, The Smashing Machine, that cratered in third place with a $6 million earning from 3,345 venues. Those ticket sales were below projections of 8 million to 15 million, and I think we can finally say The Rock is not a movie star. He cannot open a movie. He's a great ensemble actor, and that's been true since his wrestling days began. And the reality, according to Gross, is that Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt are strong leads who have elevated bigger pictures. It's not happening here, and the reason? American wrestling is a local phenomenon, and that will limit it abroad. Plus the fact that The Rock is questionable when it comes to politics. He never should have taken sides, and I think going forward, that could hurt him. Regardless, one woke after another was in second place once again, and it is still in 3,600 theaters, but it fell off the planet by 53% from the debut, which wasn't rocking it to begin with. When you compare all of that to the budget of 130 to 140 million, and I've heard much, much more, This film isn't set for profitability. It's set for an Oscar bait, and so is, unfortunately, The Rock's film. And I don't think either of them qualify. I think that the problem with One Woke After Another, or you might know it as One Battle After Another, that film is going to be incredibly divisive. It already has been. It is a terrible movie with a terrible theme that is likely to set more violence into motion here in the United States. And I don't think we can stand for that. In fact, when pictures like this come out, at least right now, whether or not you want to do a deep dive investigation into some of these scumbags that DiCaprio is playing here, you ultimately have to realize that the temperature is not going to get turned down. If anything, we're up at boiling point once again, and it doesn't help that Ilhan Omar is also weighing in on some very divisive language. But honestly, I just want to get to the actual numbers, and for that, we go to the numbers. That's right. So as you can see here, Taylor Swift's official release party, $33 million, as we've said before. But as you can see here, the per theater average was not over that $10,000 a theater or a screen performance at $8,900. I would have expected more. You've got One Battle After Another, which I just mentioned, a drop of about 50, 51, 52%. We'll see what the updated numbers are sometime late Monday. And it's still doing about $3,000 per theater, grossing a total of $42.7 million to date. That's over 2 weekends in a week. That's not good either. The Smashing Machine, complete disaster, utter flop and failure. It's like this was a Disney movie. It's that bad. And when you look at the $1,700, almost $1,800 that it earned per screen, well, you can't expect much future out of that. Gabby's Dollhouse from Universal is still kind of flopping outright at only $21.6 million, and not a lot of international cash coming in either. At $5.2 million, it fell 62% on its second weekend, falling from number 2. The Conjuring Last Rites, which was a horror movie, is kind of just hanging in there at this point at $167.8 million, which will give it play going forward for a little while longer, since we're in October, maybe through the end of the month. And Demon Slayer, The Infinity Castle, is crushing it still. Even with a 51% fall off, it still made $3.5 million and is $124.6 million to date. Again, these particular types of films are going to start being a bigger part of the cinematic experience going forward, because as you can tell from the other 5 movies above it, Hollywood's not making any kind of competition. And you know what? That's opportunity, especially for anime. And something that puts joy in my heart, the fact that Avatar: The Way of Water's re-release is sad. Very sad. Disney kind of sad, at only $3.1 million in 2,100 theaters, earning about $1,493 per screen, boosting the domestic total overall, which Cameron loves to do because he always wants to put his films in the top 10 of all performers ever. But this tells me Avatar may be over, and that's a good thing. The Strangers 2 is continuing to bomb, falling another 52% in its second weekend to $2.8 million and a grand total of $10.6. This was a terrible idea. It was terribly marketed, and they probably spent far too much money. I don't think we're going to see Chapter 3 anytime soon, because Lionsgate needs to save up some of that cash to start producing more from the world of John Wick movies, including John Wick, which we're getting another one, folks. Look forward to that. Good Boy, another horror film, $2.2 million in just 1,600 theaters, $1,365 per screen. Not terrible. The Long Walk, which, I think is dead meat. And again, Stephen King put his foot completely in his mouth and killed this thing. $31 million to date. It's done. Downtown Abbey. Yes, I know it's Downton Abbey. That finale is over as well. $1.3 million, 59% fall. 42 million, 0.2 overall. And him, well, that's a collapse. That's not a win. And it's not going to get better And these kinds of dramatic and radical horror films just aren't appealing. Bone Lake, Casper, all of this stuff is just kind of showing up and nobody's going. I can't believe Anemone is brand new, and it only opened in 865 theaters to $809 per screen. $700,000 on its premiere week. It's toast. And then everything else that kind of hung out is still just hanging out. As you go down the line, nothing left here is good. Freakier Friday is down to $92,000 per showing, or excuse me, per week, for this weekend, I should say, minus 725 theaters. So it's got about 160 left for $575 a screen. The Fantastic Boar, wait, that's 2 Disney movies in a row. 75,000. So the Fantastic Boar couldn't beat Freakier Friday. Yikes sauce. And let's see. Wow, they are really trying to get that to 300 million. That's why Fantastic Four is still in there. Light of the World, The Roses Up, that's Disney. That's $34,000 in 125 theaters. It fell off fast, and it was a flop and failure. Disney, you're killing it with the flops. We scroll past Orwell. We've got Hamilton. That's $17,000. Yikes. Toy Story. That's $17,000. Yikes. My goodness, what is happening right now? Just a complete collapse in theaters. But I'm going to tell you right now, Cat Video Fest 2025, still hanging in there. On that note, as you see at the bottom, and this is something that should concern us all and a point of conversation, is of the 32 films that we have release right now, according to the numbers, we only earned $79.6 million. Way under 100 million, and wouldn't even be that good if it weren't for the mighty Taylor Swift. Again, only distributed by AMC Theaters, and likely could have been a giant success if only they would share. That wraps up the box office for this weekend, or this last weekend, and we don't have a lot to look forward to. I'm really not looking forward to Tron anymore. I don't care anything about Avatar, and I'm kind of terrified of what Zootopia 2 might do. I know this much. There isn't much to look forward to until we get into next year, because as we get closer and closer to winter, and as we get to January, you can't expect anything good to show up until sometime in March. Wow, that's a dearth of films that I don't want to suffer. How about you? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Are you looking forward to seeing Taylor Swift? Did you? Do you think that maybe, just maybe, she should try to release one of these quarterly? Do you think she has that kind of staying power on film? Do you think that anime, as I think, is going to start to dominate in some areas at various times of the year? And do you think that Disney needs to recalculate not only what to re-release, but what to release at all? I think that's a bigger tale. And on a final note, do you think Warner Brothers should take a look at political divisiveness and stop releasing things like one battle after another until it's a little less wonky in this world of ours? I do. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! But probably not at the movies.